Well, did somebody finally get to President Trump? If not, then why did he just do three things that his base absolutely disapproves of? In fact, there's many in the conservative circle who are very ticked off about what Donald Trump has just done. And quite frankly, I believe you need to know about each one of these and decide for yourself whether you agree or not. Obviously, I'm still on the Trump train, but these are things that I take issue with for certain reasons. Take a look at what I'm talking about. And I'm going to start here with this Fox News report, and its headline: Trump doubles down on plan for 600,000 Chinese student visas despite MAGA backlash. The article goes on to state that President Trump on Monday defended his administration's plan to offer 600,000 visas to Chinese students, a move that has drawn criticism from within conservative circles. Fox News' Laura Ingraham pressed President Trump during an interview on the Ingraham Angle. And here's what he said to Laura Ingraham, quote, "We do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have. China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the U.S. that would go out of business," he said. "I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world, not the French, though," he added. The Chinese, and this is what Laura Ingraham says back. She goes, "The Chinese, they spy on us. They steal our intellectual property." Ingraham shot back, "Do you think the French are better?" Trump said. "Yeah," she replied. "I'm not so sure," Trump said, citing French tariffs. Trump continued to frame the issue in economic terms, saying Chinese students pay far more in tuition than Americans and help sustain the system. Here's the deal, okay? First of all, if we have to rely on foreign people to fund our universities, then that university should go out of business. It is business, right? Like any other business. If you don't have enough clients, if you don't have enough people, then go out of business. I think we'll have enough universities for starters, right? The second thing here, I don't know if I fully agree with that they fund that percentage of our universities. I did some digging on that and the numbers don't fully add up. But either way, here's the thing. Many of these Chinese students, come to the United States of America and just want education. And Marco Rubio has come out and said, hey, if they've got connections to the CCP, then we'll revoke their visa. The problem is, are they really and truly checking all of these visas and these applications to see if they have ties? You're not going to catch them all. You're really, really not. So the problem is China has a real problem infiltrating the United States of America and using people within our colleges, obviously Chinese people, not all of them. There are some who want to come here and get an education and some who come to spy. And that is what Laura Ingraham is referencing. So we've got a real issue here when we're already at ends with China. Now, ultimately, I'll leave that decision up for you to decide. How do you handle something like that? And that's the deal. Is there a real risk to what we have in the United States of America? And the answer is yes. But here's what else I will say. Right now, they haven't stopped the Chinese from buying land by military bases here in the United States of America. That's still going on. In fact, there's some questionable stuff that was just published recently. Take a look at this. China-owned trailer park near U.S. stealth bomber base linked to suspicious Vancouver activity, right? A shell company outside of Whitman Air Force Base in Missouri, and they're having some national security issues or explosive national security controversy. So until we kind of take it all as a whole, it's almost as if we're turning a blind eye to everything China is doing in the United States of America. And the question is, are we buying land by military bases in China? No, we're not. And that is what the thing is. And I have a problem with it because we have all this rise. China taking our land, China owning land next to military bases, going into our colleges. And look, if they can find a way to really make sure these people aren't linked to the CCP, great. Before they come in, accurately vet them, great. But we're having a real issue with China stealing our stuff, spying on us, and using that information against us. And there is where lies the problem. But that's not the only problem that has hit Donald Trump's desk lately. But before I dive dive in that. Just a quick reminder, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure you go up to that all button. Otherwise, you will not get a notification. So make sure that all bell is checked and like the video. And better yet, get to restrictyourrepublic.com. I created this in light of all the stuff that is happening in society right now, all the censorship. And you can sign up right now for Restrict Your Republic for $5 per month. Justice Knight just put a major exclusive report. So you're going to want to see his extended video report today. And again, you get it for 14 days free. Use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5. But don't miss out on Restrict Your Republic. It's a good way to support what we do and get in the inside of what is truly going on, because we're not publishing that information here. But with that, a lot of people are not happy, not happy with what is going on with China and the fact that Donald Trump isn't really addressing the massive land grab by China and what's going on in our universities, but also this. And this is on CNN, probably the only time in my life I will agree with CNN. But here we have Trump just floated a 50-year mortgage plan. Is that a good idea? Hell no, in my opinion. This week, President Donald Trump introduced a new idea to tackle home affordability, a 50-year mortgage loan. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte called the proposal a complete game changer. While Trump's proposal is light on the details, the administration officials say a 50-year mortgage would lower monthly payments, helping more Americans who are currently priced out of the market. But many housing experts warn the plan could backfire, raising the cost of home ownership by stretching out payments, adding more interest over time, and driving up the home prices. This isn't a good idea, said Richard Green, a professor of finance and business economics at the University of Southern California's Marshall School of Business. The monthly payment savings would be really small. At the same time, you're putting people at risk because it takes a really long time for them to start paying down their loan. Now, they go on to actually give an example of what you would pay on like a $450,000 home, right? Right now, 30-year fixed mortgage, right? 6.25 interest rate. Your monthly payment's about $2,771 over the life of the loan, right? You're going to pay about a little over $500,000 in interest. Right? That's on top of the house loan. But then it goes on to tell you what that would cost in a 50-year loan, right? At the same rate, assuming it's at the same rate, because nobody knows. It could be higher, could be lower, but I would not go with lower because it's more of a risk in a longer term. But anyway, the monthly payment would fall around $2,452. That's about a $280-ish dollar difference, I'm estimating here. But the total interest would balloon to $1.02 million, 87%, more than a 30-year loan, 87%. You would never be able to own the home, and it's like renting forever renting on a 50-year loan. Say you get a house when you're 30, now you're 80. Before you actually own that home, you'll never own it. Never own it. And this is the problem that I have with it, and you're paying quadruple. Here's the deal. Why don't we get a tackle on this crazy interest, the interest rate for one, and we also get a tackle on home prices, through this massive inflation that we keep spending through our United States government. Why don't we stop some of the fraud and corruption officially and get a handle on that, rather than putting yet another Band-Aid on it and saying, here, next generation, our kids and their kids, you're screwed, because now the only way you can afford a home is you could never afford one. So we'll start with 50, and then hell, why not go to 90-year loans where you're dead before you even pay off any of it? This is the deal. I have a real issue. I don't think this is the solution. Right now, people are being priced out of homes. The young generation is screwed. I've got kids. Our kids, Tony and ours kids are 19 all the way to 24. None of them obviously own a house. They're still going, figuring out what they want to do in life. But hell, none of them could barely afford rent and the massive amounts of rent, yet alone a home. Yet this is exactly where we're at. I take issue with that. And obviously some of you do too. And maybe you have a different opinion than me, and ultimately that is up to you. I'd love to get your comments on that, but I'm going to say hell no to a 50-year mortgage, because that is just going to cause more debt on our next generation. I think we need to take other solutions on all of that. But with that, there's a third thing that Donald Trump has done that his base is unhappy with, and that's this. This is on CBS News. Trump met with Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa after U.S. removes him from the terrorist list. Yeah. Syrian president met President Trump at the White House on Monday, continuing a stunning reversal of fortunes for a man branded, until 3 days ago, mind you, as an international terrorist by the U.S. government with a $10 million bounty on his head. The former leader of an al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria disavowed the extremism after rising to lead his war-torn country nearly a year ago. He led his rebel militia to force long-term dictator Bashar al-Assad out of office and into exile in Russia. Now, he has since gotten with Donald J. Trump and said, hey, we're gonna defeat ISIS, and we're going to join together and lead a coalition against ISIS. Funny how al-Qaeda wasn't involved in that, but hey, I digress. So some of his base are obviously not happy about those things. Again, that doesn't mean I'm off the Trump train. I'm absolutely on it. He has been doing some good things, but there's also questionable things that we need to question. I'm not just going to ride the train and everything he does is right. I don't agree with everybody 100%, and I hope you really don't either. We all have a brain where we use it, and I don't go along with the flow, but there are some red flags on this that I think need to be brought up. But anyhow, did somebody get to Donald Trump? Is there reasons that he's doing this? Maybe there's more to the story that we don't absolutely know. And with regarding Syria's new president, I think that's, I get kind of why he does that. He has to have international relationships on good standing. So that one, I kind of see. The 50-year mortgage, I just think that's a stupid move. And, well, the China, taking up our land and colleges, I'm going to kind of sit. I think there needs to be more stuff in place, and definitely not buying up our land when we are literally on the brink of potential war with everything going on with Taiwan. But anyhow, I love you guys. Can't wait to hear your thoughts, comments, and concerns. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.